Hi, my name's Jeremy Nathaniel Akers, and I want to talk to you for a second about great, not good, but great invitations with regards to liberating structures and or guiding any discussion, which is one of the essential leadership skills for the future, if you didn't know, right? And invitations are the most critical and difficult and time consuming and challenging portions of being effective with liberating structures and guiding discussions. So the first thing we want to do is we want to avoid judging or framing with our liberating structures invitations, right? We should avoid as much as possible saying, these things good, these things bad, and putting people on one side or the other of that equation. We want to open up people's avenues for thinking in our invitations so that they can think about, oh, here's this thing, and we could go this way, that way, this way, or that way, right? I want to give them some of those different directions so that they are seated with some ways to sort of go about the discussion. And I want to be very specific about the problem or the situation at the core of the invitation, but I want to be intentionally ambiguous about the perspective. I know that I'm doing this very well when people ask me after I give them the invitation, they go, yeah, but do you mean this or that? And my answer is always yes. However you look at it is good. So keep going, and you'll figure it out together. And I want my invitations to be slightly abstract. I want to be a little bit vague, a little bit squishy. I don't want them to have super hard edges, just so that people have some sort of freedom and flexibility. I don't want to lock them into a cage with my invitation. So this was my sort of 1.0 thinking that I thank Barry and Christian from the Liberators for hooking me up with. I don't know where they got it, but this is where I got it from. And I want to talk to you a little bit about my sort of Invitations 2.0 thinking that I've really been inspired by Nora Bateson and her work from the Warm Data Lab. Definitely check her out and them out if you're not familiar with what they're doing around abductive process. So what I want to do, if we think about specifically these ones, I want to open avenues for thinking and be specific about the problem or situation and ambiguous about the perspective. And I'll be super, super abstract, and I want to avoid judging or framing, right? So how can I nail these things? And this is a method. This is what I've sort of borrowed from what I've heard about her and on podcasts and just the internet at large. So I start off sort of thinking about the situation at the core of what we're talking about. And then I start thinking about, all right, so what is one interesting avenue or facet that I can invoke in order to get a grip on whatever that thing is in the core? And then I think about, okay, what's something totally different coming from like not 100, but a total different tangent on this situation that has nothing to do with this thing, but opens up a whole another can of worms. And I want to offer another one of those things so that we can have this sort of triangle around this situation, and that I can activate that with a nice phrase that does this, avoids judging or framing. So I ask very quickly or very succinctly, what comes up? What comes to mind? What rises to the surface? What emerges? What becomes relevant, salient, important, meaningful? What do you think? What do you feel? What do you notice? So that may be a little abstract, so let me give you an example. So if we take the situation that is politics, right? And then I invite you to think about technology and places and relationships, and then invite you to describe what comes up. That would look something like, around politics, given technology, places, and relationships, what comes up for you? So around politics, given technology, places, and relationships, what comes up for you? So you can imagine that this question is going to spark a discussion that can go one of well, not even one, but can go several of a trillion different combinations based on your background, experience, and what's just sort of alive and present in your world today. So that's how I'm sort of weaponizing the work of Ms. Nora Bateson and her awesome and fantabulous Warm Data Lab in conjunction with my work around liberating structures. Again, my name is Jeremy Akers, Jeremy Nathaniel Akers. Thanks again for your time, attention, and energy, and be good to yourselves.